Rafting up 2 boats can be incredibly intimidating, but 6, now that can be downright stressful.
It takes careful planning, precision, and a little luck regarding the wind and the current.
Stay tuned to see just how we did it, as well as the problems, fun, and the shenanigans we had with our marina friends on our weekend away.
Hey y'all, welcome to the Sea All Life. I'm Andrea, this is Tom, and we have 2 pups. We're a couple of Texas transplants living the empty nest life to the fullest. For us, that's living part-time on our 44-foot DeFever trawler in San Diego. Our hope is that as you join us on our dreams and adventures, we'll inspire you to discover your own.
In last week's episode, we shared our preparations, cruising from the bay out to the Pacific, and our passage to Mission Beach with 5 other boats. Rosie and I are heading out on a little adventure. The JDOT gang is heading out on a fun trip this weekend to Mission Bay. So tonight, Rosie and I are headed over to the home of Chaz and Alex up in Escondido, where we're going to meet up with Robert and Molly and make plans for the weekend. It's going to be epic. I sat down with Chaz and Alex and started mapping out a plan to get us all safely rafted up in an order that made sense.
There's going to be 6 boats, right?
Correct.
It's sort of fun to be at sea with other boats.
Yeah,
That's one of my favorite parts.
Yes.
One of my favorite parts.
So we're gonna get there. We'll get there. I'll drop anchor. Robert, he doesn't even need to drop anchor. He might, but he'll tie next to me. And then when Steve and Donna, they'll probably be the next ones that come in. Steve and Donna, they'll tie to our starboard side, and then you guys will come in and tie next to Steve and Donna on their starboard side.
Okay.
And then Colps will tie to your starboard side.
After we figured out the raft up, we made plans for all our meals, dividing us into 2 groups to prepare and serve the 6 meals we would share. While Alex and I finished up the planning, the guys worked on Chaz's dinghy engine to get it ready for the trip. We shared a great meal, knowing our planning was thorough.
Before we head out, I'm going to talk about the basics of rafting up with other boats. It's important to make sure you'll have all the gear that you need before you head out. You need 3 to 5 fenders, 2 to 4 mooring lines, and 2 to 4 spring lines, depending on whether you have a boat on each side.
That'll give you 2 fenders for each side, plus a spare, and it'll allow for 4 fenders between each boat. Plus that will give you 2 mooring lines and 2 spring lines between each boat.
Tie each fender so the rub rail is up half the height of the fender. That way the fender will be what makes the first contact between you and the other boat. When you raft up and you know that you're going to be one of the boats that drop anchor, you need to determine how much road you need to let out. So you would pass the raft up that many feet, drop the anchor, and then back down on the anchor and line it up with the other boats.
Make sure to approach at a nice slow speed so there is less room for error. Try to keep the boats as parallel as possible, with the bow coming in slightly ahead of the stern.
Make sure the crew of each boat is ready to throw the lines over.
Continue to pull in nice and slow and easy, ready to make adjustments when necessary for the wind and the current.
We go for the bow line first and use that as a control line. Wrap the line around the cleat and allow the adjacent boat to ease into the fenders. We always try to align the boats where the transoms are close together. This allows us to move safely between the boats during the raft up. Once you're happy with the position, move to the stern lines. The final step is to tie the spring lines to avoid the boats moving forward and aft. However, on our raft up, we didn't have to do that because we had minimal current and minimal wind. Once all the lines are tied, it's now time to cut the engines and it's safe to move from one vessel to the other.
2 hours later, we were cruising into Mission Bay, ready to put our raft up skills to the test. As we neared Mariner's Cove, I put out the fenders. Chaz brought Robert out to sea yacht to assist us with lowering the dinghy and the anchor.
Robert is here to help with the dinghy. We're pulling it off with the davit.
Still a little heavy in the front.
Could be water.
Yeah, there's definitely water in it.
It's a good thing you're strong, Robert.
Strong enough, anyway.
Strong enough to be my man. He'll come out. I have a bilge pump in it.
With the dinghy lowered, Tom pulled near the other boats. He pulled past Living on a Prayer so we could drop anchor and then moved back for the anchor to set.
Is there a little hook on there?
Captain Tommy began his slow approach to the starboard side of Living on a Prayer.
Tommy! You're hot!
Hey, can you guys? There'll be some on your deck if we don't get this right.
How are those stairs lining up?
Watch your nose, little baby.
We want to line up the doors.
Good job.
A little
That
more
was
forward.
nice and gentle.
All right, right there.
Halt.
Good?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
steps are
All
alive.
right, you tie it off back there.
Hey, Rosie, watch your nose, little baby.
So we're gonna line up the
We want to line up the doors.
The doors.
yeah, the door.
So a little more forward.
Nice and gentle.
Passenger down below.
There's no cleat back there.
Cheers.
Right trigger.
To the bottom.
Yeah, there's a cleat on the inside.
Oh, here, then go inside.
No, that goes to the same thing.
And Rosie!
We're ready to float. We sort of did one of those. Rosie, girl.
With 5 of the 6 boats securely rafted up together, it was time for some fun. We started by inflating Gloria, our giant flamingo raft, and fun for the weekend. The 6th boat, Salty Seas, arrived, ready to make our raft up complete.
Rosie, are you yacht hopping again?
Rosie.
You're a yacht hopper, huh?
She loves yachts.
We began the evening hours with delicious drinks and appetizers on Salty Seas. Then we shared a yummy taco meal and enjoyed good friends in the serenity of our surroundings in Meritor's Cove. Evening fell and the moon was bright. Our night ended with the SeaWorld fireworks extravaganza over the bay. Join us next week for part 3 of our weekend adventure with friends, where we encounter a surprising problem or two and then head back out to sea for our trip home.